All right, guys. So a few weeks ago, we did a segment where we were talking about unpopular opinions, right? And we went through a list of them, and we had some good conversation. And I think that generated some good conversation, even with our listeners. So I wanted to sort of dip our toe back into that water, but not doing. Well, there's still unpopular opinions, but we're the ones who are going to be giving the opinion. So I call this one pro or no. All right. So basically, I'm going to present you with something, and then all I want you to do is tell me if you're pro that thing or if that thing is a no for you. Okay. You can explain your answer, but I'm going to limit you guys to 2 caveats. So when I say caveats, I don't mean explanations. I mean exceptions. So for example, if I were to say combat sports, are you pro combat sports or are you no on combat sports? You, Matt, could say, you know what, I really like boxing, but when it comes to UFC, I don't really like UFC. So look, stipulations, if you will, right?
Okay.
So, but I'm only going to allow you guys to do that on 2 of these. Okay. So the other ones, you'll just have to make a definitive pro or no statement on the thing that I present.
How many do we get?
2.
2.
No,
you
how
get
many
2.
topics?
Oh, there are 8.
Okay.
And I know all 8. You guys won't know all 8. So I'm going to, instead of giving myself 2 caveats, I'm going to limit myself to just 1.
Jeez.
So I get 1, you guys get 2.
Okay.
I don't want to waste my caveats on like the first one.
I know, right?
Yeah. And some of these are light. Some of these are going to be just quick, quick opinions. And some of them might take a little bit more of a deep dive.
Start holding on to those 2 real hard.
Yeah.
The first one is like super deep.
All right. So the first one is going to be Green Day. Pro or no?
Oh, okay. Pro
Green Day?
Pro Green Day.
You like Green Day? All right.
I do.
I say pro. Yeah, actually.
I say pro too. I'm a Green Day fan. I don't listen to the music every day, but I'm definitely someone, if I hear a Green Day song come on, I'll probably listen to it.
Yeah.
So I like a lot lot of their like earlier work.
Is that his caveat right now?
No. This is just an explanation. He's just
Yeah,
explaining.
Nice try. Because I'm gonna support this. And I've gotten to see them live twice. Within like, I think the time difference was probably 8 years.
They've been around forever.
For a while. Yeah. So my first one was
80s?
80s, I think. Yeah.
what was it? Summerfest or
Yeah.
Fall Frenzy in Tempe. And dude, I thought it was like one of the coolest shows because their like guitars lit up and this and that. They were interacting with the crowd and everything. And the last time I went, it was like 2021, early after COVID, and we took a family trip to San Diego, got to see them, and it was like it was Green Day, it was Weezer, Fall Out Boy.
Oh, cool.
And so like it was a big concert.
Yeah.
I
I said those are all
Hella Mega Tour.
They could all headline.
Seriously.
Yeah, so it was the Hella Mega Tour. And honestly, we were so close to the border, so San Diego and then Tijuana.
Okay.
That a lot of people crossed over to go watch this concert, and like he spoke in Billy Joel Armstrong spoke in Spanish, but then they also like they have a huge following in Mexico. But the coolest thing I thought that he did is like he brought on a kid to play one of the songs.
Oh, nice.
Gave him the guitar to play, and then he just gave him the guitar.
Oh, that's cool.
I was like, dude, that is like an incredible way to impact someone,
awesome.
that loves the music, and hopefully that kid goes and plays, pro or at least plays for the rest of his life.
And if not, he's got a awesome memory that he'll be able to carry with him forever.
Literally.
So that's really cool.
So
Awesome.
love Green Day.
Yeah, Green Day. All right, easy one. A little softball to get us started here. Next one, open relationships.
No.
No, Matt's a no.
I want to know why.
Okay.
I'm also a no.
I'm not giving you my caveat now.
No. Explain. You can explain all you want. You just have to sort of ride with the no. So you can't say no to open relationships and then in the explanation be like, oh, you know what? Actually, if it's this way, then I agree. I'll say I'm just before you get into yours.
Yeah.
I'm a no as well.
I would hope so.
Not into open relationships.
Fair. It's a no for me just because I feel like somebody somewhere is going to have their feelings hurt. Like I've talked to friends who do the open relationships or the polyamorous relationships.
Sure.
And it's like, oh yes, partner A is the person that I have my emotional connection with, who like if I'm having a bad day or they're having a bad day, we talk to each other and emotional. And then partner B is the physical partner only. That's not, and I'm like, wait, so you don't have, and this was how they explained their relationship boundary to me, was they didn't have a physical connection to A. Because that was the emotional partner only. And then B didn't have an emotional connection, only was physical. And eventually, the one who got upset was B. Because B was like, well, I want to be able to talk to you. Yeah. I want to be able to like tell you I'm having a bad time.
That's interesting. I wonder if polyamorous people would consider that like a true polyamorous relationship.
Yeah, I don't know. So that one to me, I'm like, it's like that the song by The Script, The Heart Don't Break Even, you know? Yeah. And I feel like that's where I'm like, I say no, it's a no for me. Hey, if you can rock it, you can rock it. But for me, nah, it's not for me.
Yeah. I can't imagine. Yeah, like I'm not a jealous person. I'm not a jealous or envious person generally. But like thinking, because I mean, there will be feelings involved. Like that scenario you just brought up, I think that person who was like, I'm gonna have a physical relationship and an emotional relationship. Yeah, that's just wishful thinking. Because when you're physical with someone, there will be emotions that come into play. When you have an emotional relationship with someone, you're gonna want to at some point become physical. So yeah, I just think that was just wishful thinking on that person's part, and yeah, that was just doomed to fail. But yeah, anyway, so I'm not a jealous person, but I just can't see myself being okay with, I don't know if this is derogatory, but like sharing someone with someone, sharing someone that I have a relationship with and I love and care about deeply, sharing them physically and emotionally with another person. I feel like that would bring out a jealous side of me that I wouldn't want to ever explore.
It's hard. It's hard to not separate. It's hard to separate, you know. But again, if you can do it, hey, go right for it. You asking me, is it for me? It's just not for me. For you, yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Arby's.
Pro.
Okay, very enthusiastic pro from Matt.
I might be the only one keeping them alive, but pro.
See, and
oh, you're gonna use your caveat on Arby's? Okay.
Yeah, Arby's, dude. There's 5 more.
Why not?
Okay, hey.
Biscuit for the biscuit.
Go for it.
Arby's, we have the meats.
They have the meats, which afterwards gives you meat sweats.
Sure.
And like, for as good as it is at the moment, like I haven't had Arby's since I got back from Cheyenne. So it was one of the places where, like, when I was living in Cheyenne for work.
How long ago was that?
To 2019. So
okay. So he hasn't had Arby's in 6 years.
6 years. Okay. Yeah. So reasonable amount of time, right? And I went there, after work, because it was one of the only places that was quick, accessible, open, and I wouldn't necessarily say cheap. I think it's gotten more expensive now. But it was one of those that, like, okay, I need something different, fill me up, and they had all these flavors, right? But when I got to my hotel room and like an hour after, it just wrecked me. and it might not be the case for everyone, but I'm like, sure. I don't know. It's too much food flavor profiles mixing that shouldn't be mixing in my stomach. So for me, I'm gonna say no. But for general public, like, do your own thing. It is good.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go with no on this one as well, just because I don't. It's not ever a go-to for me. I'm never craving Arby's. Anything I can get at Arby's that I want, I can get from somewhere else, and it's probably gonna taste better. But I'm never like, damn, I really want a roast beef and cheddar right now. Like,
but you can make it too. Like I used to. I'm feeling like roast beef with something. Let me go to Fry's and pick up the meat and the.
Fair enough. Yeah. With like other fast food chains though, like sometimes you do crave a Big Mac, or sometimes you do crave, Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich, and it's like you're not gonna be able to get that craving satisfied somewhere else. But with Arby's, it's like, like there's nothing on their menu where I'm like, that is the thing, and that is the thing that I want and that I'm craving.
Have you tried their sauces?
They have sauce. I mean, I've had Arby's sauce.
They have like so many different types of sauces. So.
Matt, what's your go-to order from Arby's?
The chicken bacon Swiss.
Chicken bacon Swiss. Okay.
Yeah, that one. It's like it's got honey mustard on it, and chicken and bacon. It's delicious. I absolutely love that sandwich. That's my go-to with Arby's.
Hey, Arby's, if you're listening, we are open to sponsorship. So
send us $20. If I get sent a gift card to go, hey, that's all. I made it. I don't need anything else.
One chicken bacon Swiss a month, and he is in.
I'd be willing to suffer.
I'll come in wearing an Arby's shirt. Arby's, we have the meat. I'll have a whole spiel.
Okay, moving on. Next one is going to be pet names.
Yes.
Pro.
I'm a no, but I'm going to use my caveat here. I'm a no when it comes to pet names in romantic relationships. I don't even want to say I've tried, because the idea of calling my girlfriend or wife currently babe, honey, sweetie, it triggers something in me that makes me physically cringe. Like, I can never say that and feel genuine and feel good about myself saying it. But when it comes to my daughter, yeah, she gets all the
baby girl,
the sweetheart, baby girl. Yeah, like it's that's natural for me to say it to her. But when it comes to romantic relationships, yeah, something about it just gives me the ick, as the kids say.
I guess it's just like, for me, when I think about pet names, like, you know, you get those ones that are like baby girl, my sweetheart. But then I think about like hun. Hey hun, can you help me out with this really quick? And that does, like, I know that might be a pet name, but that one doesn't feel weird to me. But like the other ones, I'm like, I'm still pro, but I'm like, I don't love them.
I'm still pro. And I definitely get that, you know, as you go through more relationships, it gets a little bit harder too, because like, oh, this pet name associates with this person, that, and so I've always been careful of what I
Luis
say.
does have multiple pet names he has to worry about. He's like, damn, this one's baby girl, this girl is sweet.
No, not like that. No, but like you do build a personal connection. Like, and I'm gonna share it. Like, my parents have been happily married.
That was a weird real pause.
For 35 years.
Your brother and sister are gonna be like, what the hell are you doing right now?
And let's be real, like the more time they spend together, like the more they're there for each other and they love each other. But it's been, we've had some ups and downs in our family.
As all relationships
exactly.
have,
And so, but I'm going to tell you right now, like, my dad has like the sweetest pet name for my mom, and it's Florecita del Campo. And it's like the most basic, like, you go and this is like, you're a flower on a field. Right. And the way that we think of it, or the way I've always imagined it, and I might be wrong, I might have to ask him, is like we grew up going to the farm because my grandfather had a barn and a farm and all that stuff. And so I'm like thinking, like, out of everything out here, a lot of it looks just plain and this and that. But he picked the flower, the one thing that stood out. Or you could even look at it in the sense of like, there's 1,000 flowers in this field and he picked her.
It's so pretty, I want to throw up.
Right? But it's to them.
I understand.
Yeah, no, that's got a lot of meaning to it, but it's like that, and that's awesome. But the idea of like calling like someone outside of just calling them their name, I don't know. For me, and I understand that everybody does it. It's a weird quirk of mine. Maybe I'm in the minority, clearly, but it just never sat right with me. Like, it's never sat right. It doesn't feel right coming off my tongue when I tried to do it in the past. It just feels forced. I always feel weird when I get it, when people say, when like in relationships in the past that I've had, when they've tried to call me babe or baby, it's like, oh God, stop, please. My name's Adonis. Like, that's enough. That's all I want you to call me.
Dang.
But yeah, so I don't know, but it's just been it's just been a weird thing of mine. So, but I know people. Most people are okay with it. Some people get offended if you don't call them by their pet name.
But here's the other thing: is like you can make up any pet name. It's a nickname, but it's a pet name in the sense that you use it, which is like my grandfather used to say.
It's like a term of endearment.
Yeah, term of endearment. But I'm like, there's some that I'm like, damn, you're really calling them that? Like, vieja, like, hey, old lady.
Yeah.
Like,
but to them, it's cute. You know.
Who knows?
All right, moving on. I don't want to get too wrapped up in pet names. Pickles.
No.
Am I really going to use my second caveat? I'm going to say, yeah, why not? I've grown.
Okay, I'm definitely pro pickle over here. Love me a pickle. Popeyes has a new pickle lemonade. and it is delicious. Let me tell you, it's weird at first. You got to get used to it. You got to get acclimated to the taste. But it's really, really good. I'm a big fan of pickle because it adds like a tartness to savory dishes. It gives it like a crisp snap, you know.
Yeah.
We're a big fan of pickles in my household. Yeah, we're pickle people for sure.
And you say pickled lemonade. I almost threw up in my mouth, but I get that. Like it does give an amazing flavor profile. I love pickles and cubanos, and it's a staple in a cubano. Yeah. So that's why I was like, add more flavor to it.
Yeah. All right, we'll leave pickles there. Hey, Vlasic though, we're looking for partnerships. So if Arby's and Vlasic want to hit us up, we're open. We'll just stick to Matt with Arby's and me with the pickles. All right, emojis.
Pro.
Man, can I say I don't really care either way, so I guess
this is your caveat.
Pro.
Yeah, I mean, technically that's a caveat, I think.
Yeah, I guess that's a caveat. I really don't care, but in a professional setting, if you send me a 5 different emojis, I might look at you a little bit differently. But if you want to use them, It's whatever.
Fair enough. So it doesn't sound like you're very pro, but you don't personally use emojis. I feel like you've used emojis before in conversations that I've had with you.
I feel like I do, but I don't feel like I overuse because I feel like when you say emoji, I feel like I've seen the side where someone's got 6 emojis in one message, and I'm like, oh, that's a lot.
I think that's an extreme, Matt. I don't normally see that, even in a professional setting, because I do exchange emails back and forth, and when we hit a point where we're like, yes, that works, we'll add 1 or 2 emojis. Love it. Let's go.
I'm pro emoji because I think it helps convey tone through text sometimes.
That is true.
So I think if you're saying something that could be perceived as, oh, this might sound snarky,
dickish,
throw a smiley face in there, and then it clears it up right away. Yeah. Oh, this was not meant to be a snarky comment. So
okay,
I'm pro emoji. Yeah, just because anything that's overused can become a problem. But as long as you're not using 5 or 6 a text message, then a smiley face here and there, a little shrugging guy every now and again. Why not spice it up a little bit? Add some flavor.
It also lightens the mood, right? Because like you said, the tone of the message, text message,
changes.
It changes. And it's if you really want to have a serious conversation, let's have. Hey, we need to discuss, or give me a call. But
yeah, fair enough. All right, and lastly, conversations with your barber, Uber driver, server, etc.
Caveats.
Yes, last time you use your caveats. So if you
wait,
you guys
so conversations with your barber,
anybody who's in the service industry that you're with for more than a few minutes. So
more than a few minutes, less than an hour. Typically.
Well, sometimes your barber might take a little long. Sometimes
I say pro. Pro,
okay.
Because I don't want to sit there and make somebody. If you feel awkward being in the car with me, and you're like, hey, and it's quiet. And it's to make you feel comfortable, you want to have a conversation. All right, fine. Okay. I might give you 1 or 2 1 or 2 word answers unless it's something that does pique my interest. But I am pro because I don't want somebody to feel like oh, you're my servant. I paid you to do a job. Do it, and that feels wrong.
But okay, I mean that's definitely that's a caveat. That's a stipulation.
But it's a pro.
But it's a pro. But what if not considering the other person's feelings? I know that's hard to do. But if it's hey. If the guy was really yo, do you want to talk to me or should I just be quiet and drive? I don't have a preference myself, but if you want to talk, I'm down to talk. If you want to just sit in silence, I'll sit in silence.
This is totally
what would your option be?
And again, with them saying that, I'd be like, hey, I'm okay being quiet.
You're still trying to consider the feelings of the guy. But what if he's just I don't care, bro. I'm your driver. If this Uber's in this situation, But would you prefer to talk to the person or would you prefer to sit in silence?
I don't prefer to talk to people that I don't overly know.
There we go.
But again, I don't want them to feel oh, I've hired you to do a job, do that job and that's it. So it's if somebody was if someone was like that, hey man, I don't care either way. I'm like, all right, cool man, we can just be quiet. I'll lead right to it.
That would be your choice.
That'd be my choice.
Okay.
But if someone was oh man, this weather today, yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? And just I'm going to hope that with my 1 or 2 answers that you realize, okay, he doesn't really want to engage. Okay. But if you continue, I'm going to continue.
But if you don't want to engage, why'd you reply?
Unfortunately, I am empathetic, and I am also a talker. So
This is my caveat. I'm glad I saved it. Because I'm gonna put 2 stipulations on it. First time interactions, it's okay to not be engaged, right? So I say, for the most part, I'm gonna start off again. For the most part, I'm a pro.
Okay.
But first time interactions, that's the deciding factor of like yes, no, and how you're feeling afterwards. Like, because I will, most of the time I am, social and I interact with them. But there's just times where like it either doesn't match the personalities, the topics, all that stuff. It just doesn't match, or I'm socially drained or tired where I just want to have my alone time. Unfortunately, my alone time includes going out to do this or that, and so I have to interact with people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, those are my caveats, but for the most part I would say yes, because I've gotten to learn cool things from my servers, and we have great conversations back and forth. And then there's this one guy that does our cash pickups that is just legit. Like, hey, I've tried to interact, I've tried to talk, and he's just a stone wall, and it could be for many reasons. So at this point, I just don't. All right, here you go. Let's go. Thank you. Come again.
But you want to talk.
But I do want to talk. So yes,
Okay.
bro.
So you're a pro. I'm a no. I'm a hard no. I don't. I don't. The barber that I go to, or I haven't been in a very long time, but the barber that is I would consider my barber. Yeah, sometimes you talk to your barber and you do develop a sort of, it's not necessarily a friendship, but they want updates on your life, you want updates on theirs, so it becomes this sort of symbiotic type of relationship where you're having conversation, but it's because you genuinely want to. But if I'm going to a barber for the first time, or let's say I'm out of town somewhere and I just need to get a haircut really quick, and I know I'm never going to see that person again, it's going to be a no for me, because I would rather just come in, get the service done, and bounce. Like, and that's the same way. I take a lot of Ubers, and 9 times out of 10, the Uber driver wants to talk to you. And it's like, man, I just would rather just sit here, and I would just rather get to my destination. I don't want to have to, and we talked about this a little bit last week, I don't want to have to actively engage and interact with people. Like, I'm much more comfortable in silence, just generally speaking. So especially when it comes to someone I don't know, like, and who I'm probably never going to see again. Like, small talk is just so unnecessary. It's just people trying to fill that empty space because they feel uncomfortable. But if people were just more comfortable in silence, then I think the world would be a better place. I just enjoy existing in silence. So, yeah, I'm a hard no, especially with like things like servers. Yeah, we can chat a little bit. Like, I know you have a job to do. It's sort of in the description to be personable and friendly. I don't have a problem with you being friendly, but I don't need to know your whole life story. I don't need to tell you my whole life story. Like, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna eat, you're gonna collect my check, I'm gonna tip you, and then I'm gonna bounce. You're never gonna see me again.
Yeah.
So it's like, why do I need to try to get to know you?
There is a active coffee chain that I avoid
exactly
because they want to talk, and it's like, I get it. Get it. Your tip is based on this.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have this really fun vibe, and like, oh my God, like, we're hip and cool.
Yeah.
I respect it. Give me my caramelizer and let me go. Release me.
I don't get
from this hell that I'm in.
I really don't get how the tip is based when like they're. Are you paying with cash? Is that what it is?
You tip
on their readers and everything?
You can tip on the reader, but then you also tip when you get up there. There's a tip jar.
Yeah.
There's 2 tips.
No, I only tip once.
Yeah, no, it's fair. But like, yeah, it's like, what are you doing tonight?
Yeah.
Brother, you don't, why?
Why are you coming with me?
Like, and I think I gotta answer the question.
That particular chain is known for that. So it's like, that's sort of their shtick.
That's gimmick.
Part of their gimmick, is that we're gonna be all up in your face for this 5-minute interaction.
And guess what? I don't go, and they're not hurting by me not going, but I definitely look at it and I'm like, I'm not. I can't do this today.
I worked at a pretty popular sandwich chain when I was a teenager, and it was part of our job that whenever we heard the ding of the bell when someone opened the door, everyone in the restaurant had to be like, hey, welcome in. Like, hey, it had to be a whole thing. So it was like every time somebody walked in, and I can imagine, and I worked on a college campus where 9 times out of 10 people walking in have headphones on, so they don't hear us anyway. So it's like, but again, it's that idea, that concept of customer service has to equal overly social people.
Yeah.
overly social interactions, and I just disagree with that. I think in 2025 specifically, a lot of people, maybe not most, but a lot of people see customer service and they think, oh, how can I get through this quickly? Not about my interaction with the person who's providing the customer service.
I would say it's more, how can I
that's outdated.
experience this comfortably now?
You think
At least that's what I try and do at my establishment.
Sure.
So, but
yeah, I don't know. That
Times
got a little long winded, but yeah, that's pro or no, guys. So hopefully that was an interesting conversation. Not too controversial. So yeah. Anyway, that's pro or no. I'm Adonis,
I'm Luis.
I'm Matt.
and this is Speakeasy. All right, welcome to episode 6 of Speakeasy. Thanks for hanging out with us today, guys. We are here to, as always, have quality conversation fueled by quality craft cocktails. Today was Matt's choice to pick a drink. What did you select, sir? What are we sipping on this fine Sunday afternoon?
Today we are sipping on a frozen blue Moscato Margarita. It's summertime. It's getting hot out there. Who doesn't love a nice, cool margarita to kick back in? Little extra wine just to kind of make you feel a little bit better about yourself. You make yourself feel a little looser, because summer in Arizona is the absolute worst. It has a really sweet taste once you get down to the wine part of it. Unfortunately, we didn't have straw, so we were sipping the tequila straight. And yeah, it was a very good choice. How did you guys like it so far?
Yeah, so this thing is packed. It's got a lot of alcohol. So just to run through the ingredients really quick, it's got Moscato, as Matt mentioned. It's margarita. So there's tequila. Matt chose Don Julio.
I did choose Don Julio.
I didn't catch the full name of what type of Don Julio it was, so sorry. It'll be in the show notes if you guys want to check that out. It's got blue curacao. It has triple sec. It has lime juice. And yeah, we did a frozen version also, as Matt mentioned. So this was blended with ice. We rimmed our glasses with salt and sugar as well. So yeah,
You did sugar.
I did sugar. Yeah,
Smart choice.
yeah. So yeah, you chose this just because it was a summertime drink. You were feeling some summertime vibes.
Yeah, margaritas, man. To me that screams like summertime.
Got us away from the rum, so you know that's appreciated. I think the last 3 drinks we did were all rum drinks. So
Yeah, I did not know Bahama Mamas had rum. That threw me off for a second, but then it makes sense when
I think
you
most
think about
island drinks, right? Most island drinks are gonna have rum. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. I'm not a fan of tequila. Tequila is the forward ingredient in this margarita for sure. I just had a bad experience with tequila when I was in my heyday, and I've never really explored it. I've had some Patron, because when there's Patron, you drink Patron. But yeah, other than that, I've been pretty avidly against tequila. So it's nice to dip my toe back into the tequila waters, but probably the last time I'll do so for a while, unless we pick another drink with tequila in it, in which case I will obviously indulge. But it's not bad. I'm digging it. I've got a lot left. I don't know if I'll finish.
Oh, do you want to? I can help you out, bro. If you want to spread some over mine.
We'll see. Let me see how these conversations go. Maybe I might need a drink here in a few.
To our listeners, I've already finished mine.
Yeah, Matt's already finished his.
Twice. I had to give him half of mine.
This is our second blended drink in a row as well, because we did pina coladas last time.
Yes.
It's hot, dude.
Yeah.
That's the main reason why. But
Yeah.
I feel
How
like
are you feeling
summertime.
about this, Luis?
you know, I was trying to give it a rating, and I like to do 1 through 5. I give it a 3. I wasn't expecting this. Like, you chose a margarita, but you chose the most abstract margarita you could possibly go with, because there's so many. And it's sweet. I get that. I like the sweetness of it. It's a different type of sweet. At first, I was getting all alcohol, like just straight up. I'm glad that you chose Don Julio, because it's smoother. You probably did the white, right?
Yeah, it's
White tequila, silver tequila.
Silver, yeah.
Yeah. So, smooth. It's not gonna like have a strong taste afterwards. And then like I've had my fair share of bad experiences with tequila too.
Mm-hmm.
That's primarily what we used to drink back in college, and so I'd say like I don't go hunting for tequila drinks. But this is all right. But it's good. I wouldn't make it again because it's a little bit sweeter and it's definitely hitting me. Like I said, a lot of alcohol, but
Yeah.
It was.
yeah. I do make a nice like El Patron margarita that I give to anyone that's like, oh, make me a margarita, and it's all like natural flavors and everything, and it's really good. A little bit more juicier than this, and that's what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting like alcohol and then sweetness. So
All right.
All right, yeah, so that's the drink of the week. Like I said, if you guys want the recipe for this one, it'll be in the show notes down below. So if you want to pause here, go grab a glass and join us for the rest of the conversation, that would be cool. All right, so I've been watching a lot. This week. So there's a couple of quick things I want to mention before we get to the main event, which will be a brief review of Lilo and Stitch, the new live action remake that came out and pretty much destroyed Memorial Day box office records, as well as destroying Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. So sorry, Tom. You shouldn't have gone up against the machine that is Disney. That's on you.
That is true.
especially with the 3-hour movie.
Yeah, which I hear is really, really good. I still have not seen Mission Impossible or Final Reckoning, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. But anyway, to things I have seen. So I want to touch on a few things that maybe you guys can chime in on. So got to talk about it just because it's the biggest show on TV right now. The Last of Us Season 2 wrapped up a week ago today. We're recording on Sunday. As someone who's a non-gamer, someone who hasn't played either of the games, I really enjoyed the second season. There was one big thing that happened that I was spoiled on, but the rest of the season, I really had no idea what was coming. So that was really cool to be officially in the dark for most of the season. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the 2 final seasons. It was just announced that there will be a season 4. I'm excited for the rest of the story. I did really enjoy this second season. I know it sort of, for a lot of people, it was a big drop from season 1. I will say that I do prefer season 1, but I don't think there was anything necessarily wrong with this season. I think I just enjoyed the writing a little bit more in the first season, but I thought the characters were really good. I'm really excited to see, and it's hard to talk about the show without spoiling things, which I don't want to do. I want to actively not spoil this for people. There are some characters introduced in this second season that it takes some getting used to. There's some situations that I think it takes some getting used to, but I think there are some moral quandaries in situations that are really good sort of think pieces that really make you as a viewer think about how you would react in these situations, that I really, really enjoyed with this second season, because it's not as black and white as some things that are on TV. It's like real life, it's in a shade of gray. So I did appreciate that. I appreciated how much it made me confront some things internally that I would have thought that I might have been on the other side of the conversation on. So it was just really cool and it's always awesome when a show can evoke those types of thoughts and feelings from you. So really, really good. Hopefully we don't have to wait 2 years until season 3, but who knows. So yeah, really quick, have you guys watched season 2 Last of Us?
Yes.
I haven't, so I'm gonna sneak in before the pro gamer gives his thoughts, because I know there's gonna be some fun thoughts.
Spoiler free fun thoughts though. Spoiler free fun thoughts.
I did watch season 1.
Yeah.
This reminds me I have to go back and renew my HBO, so thank you. But I loved season 1. I'm gonna tell you, like, if you guys haven't played the games, I don't think you need to, but if you haven't seen this show, you need to watch this show.
Oh dang.
Yeah, okay. I'm like thinking through it, and every episode was just so iconic and had its depth and had its character development that, like, I remember every single episode, and that's hard to do, right?
Yeah.
I know there are longer episodes with less of them, but still, like, I remember the cliffhanger. I remember all of the characters. I know that some characters aren't reoccurring. I know some that are, and so like it just has so much depth and makes you feel so much and really think about it that you do have to watch this. So now I'm gonna have to
Did
go.
you say it has so much depth or death? Was that a Freudian slip? Because there's a lot of death in there too.
Yes, it was depth.
Okay.
So I'm excited to watch it now. I've been watching something else, and I'm gonna make time hopefully to watch this, but I don't think I'm gonna catch up until like middle of the summer, maybe 2 months from now. So
Hey, push it off as long as you can. That way you don't have the wait between seasons 2 and 3 isn't as brutal as it will be for the rest of us.
Seriously.
That's fair.
Matt, what were your thoughts on the second season?
You know,
As a gamer.
as a gamer.
Oh, sorry.
Well,
I
no,
just
yeah.
well,
General thoughts.
to let the people know you have played the game.
Yeah.
Both of them, right?
It's a little bit of a letdown. I think in the regards of, and I feel like it's a discrepancy between how they need to operate a video game versus how they need to operate a TV show. A video game is go, go, go. You know that this game potentially has 20 hours that 20 to 40 hours that it needs to hit, if you will.
Sure.
So it's like there's no real time to mull stuff over, or there's no real time to like experience a decision that or a choice that was made by a writer. It's like, nope, this character is feeling X, they are now going to expand on X and go. As to where I feel like the TV show version, there was this like, you have to let stuff kind of like build, if you will.
Yeah.
So I think in that regard, I was kind of like, man, I'm amazed that they decided to like wait, if you will. At least after the pinnacle episode, I was kind of really weirded out. Not weirded out, but episode 3, I was like, huh. Okay, I expected these things to be happening. They're not happening yet, but that's because it's a TV show.
Yeah.
So on the gamer side of it, I was a little bit disappointed because I was like, but dude, this episode should have been this conversation, and it should have been this level, like these events should have happened. Sorry. So that was weird to me, but overall, like it was okay. And I have a hard time with the second game. When it came out, I actually stopped playing it for about a month or two because something happens and I was like, I don't like this. And I had to let myself kind of fester in those feelings.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I don't think the TV show did bad, but they did take a little bit longer to freaking go.
Gotcha. Yeah, I will say I guess I'll end it with this, but I do know the video game, The Last of Us Part 2, is extremely polarizing.
Yes.
In the fact that either you hate it or you think it's the best video game of all time. I've seen and heard both sides of that conversation, but people are very passionate about their feelings, and for the most part, you feel one way or the other. I've heard people talk about how this ruined the first game, how it's terrible and blah blah blah. And I've also heard people say this game was a masterpiece. It was so much better than the first one because of the story and where it went. So I've seen both sides of that argument. So it is really interesting that on the internet there is so many voices on both sides of the conversation. So it's really cool.
Do you think it's been the same for like the TV show?
No, I think people are upset with the TV show. And this is the funny part. And again, this will be the last thing I say about it. I think people are upset because it's not adapting the game exactly. But those same people who are mad that it's not adapting the game exactly are the same people who had a problem with how the game played out. So it's like, okay, you want a direct adaptation of a game that you didn't enjoy. So when they change things, that makes you upset, even though you didn't like the original subject matter anyway. So I don't know how that makes sense, but it's like, hey, I hated it, but I want you to do it exactly the way I hated it.
I want to re-hate
Yeah, I
it for
want
the
to
exact same reason.
I don't want you to change
Don't give me
things.
new reasons.
How
to
dare
hate
you?
it.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't understand that piece of it, but I do. I think fans of any work like this are just passionate, to put it politely, and they can be assholes.
Never satisfied.
Yeah, never satisfied, and just find reasons to complain, which I never understood. Just enjoy that you guys get a high quality adaptation of this game. Anyway, I won't get into
Exactly.
that.
Man, I've been looking for like a great adaptation of Super Mario Party. They haven't done that, so.
Super Mario Party specifically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that movie, the Super Mario movie succeeded, so maybe we'll get a Mario Party movie.
Last thing I want to talk about before we get into Lilo and Stitch is I wanted to issue a public apology to the fine folks over at Apple TV for their program, Ted Lasso. I put off watching Ted Lasso for a very long time, and I never badmouthed it. I was never like, oh, it looks stupid, I don't want to watch that show. It was just like I just never had time for it, and everybody told me, Luis included, that it's a really good show. You should watch it. I've had several other people tell me that, but I just refused to press play. I watched it. I binged the first season in probably a day and a half. A work day and a half. So not even like a weekend day and a half, but a work day and a half. It's a great show. Like I don't know why I wouldn't just press play. But if you're out there listening to this and you are hesitant to press play on Ted Lasso, just do it.
Press play.
It's a great show. It's like one of the more heartwarming shows that I've ever seen. It's like, and again, I don't want to spoil anything, but Ted Lasso as a character is just such a positive force.
Just a solid good dude.
It just makes you like, man, like this is just awesome. Like people in the show, you go from being like, oh man, this guy's a little too much, to like, please, Ted, I need more of you in my life. Like he's just a really good guy. It's a really good show. It's just all about positivity. And it's just, it's really good writing. It's not like a laugh out loud funny most of the time. It's more of like a quiet comedy, but it's really, really good, guys. Like, so if you haven't seen it, please do yourself a favor and watch it. I'm a few episodes into season 2. Maybe a controversial statement, but it's not hitting the same as season 1 was right off the bat. And I know I have a few more episodes to go. I think I've only watched 3 episodes, so I have a ways to go. So it could turn it around, but I think that the charm of that first season, I haven't gotten there yet for the second season. I think the conflict in season 1 was so good that like what I've experienced so far in season 2 just hasn't quite matched up quite yet. But again, that could change.
I would definitely wait.
Yeah.
And then just make sure you have tissues for when you're done.
Yeah, it was emotional. I mean, even the first season was emotional. There were some moments that definitely got me choked up a lot. So definitely, you guys are both. I know you finished it, Matt. You watched it all the way through.
I've watched season 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's stopping you from continuing with season 3?
I'm sad that it ends.
Fair enough.
I've recently found out I'm one of those people who I like not finishing things because I'm just like, oh man, it's gonna be done, and then it's like, but then you get the joy of like rewatching it.
Sure. Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I haven't clicked play only because I'm like, it's it.
Yeah, that's right.
And there's gonna be no more because he's like, the character's done.
Yeah.
Like, damn you, Jason Sudeikis, you beautiful bastard.
Yeah, really good cast. He's really good.
cast.
Hannah Waddingham is really good. She might be, honestly, like, her character has a lot of growth in that first season. So she might be my favorite character. I like Keeley too, though. The whole cast is great.
Truly, I think you can look at any one of those characters and pick one and be like, this is my favorite character because of X, and it's like, yeah, it makes sense because they all have. Even Jamie, who is an insufferable douchebag because he's the ace.
Yeah.
The growth that he gets, you're just like, holy crap, I like Jamie.
Every single one of them.
Yeah.
Every single one of those characters you fall in love with. So.
Yep.
Danny's a little hard to
just wait. Danny Santos.
I thought you were saying Rojas. I was like,
Rojas,
yeah.
I love Rojas.
Yeah.
Football
I love
life.
Just
he's
wait.
just a little. It's like too much sometimes.
I know, but God, dude.
Yeah, like I
he's
said,
a
I know I've got
positive
more. I've got
force.
more to watch, obviously. So I'm sure, but yeah, he's if I had to pick a character that I didn't love or like I would like
It's
to see a
Danny?
spinoff of, I don't need a Danny Rojas spinoff right now.
Okay.
But everybody else, I would watch a spinoff of a show. Like I would watch a Roy Kent spinoff. I would watch Yeah, most of them I would watch a spinoff of their shows.
Coach.
Yeah, Coach Beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. Anyway,
What is Sam's last name? Adesanya?
yeah, something like that.
I would watch
Yeah.
a spinoff for Sam.
Yeah, Sam's great.
Or even oh yeah. It's a good show. Good
Yeah,
show.
yeah. Well, yeah.
Good call. I'm glad you apologized.
Yeah, like I said, I never badmouthed it. I was, as the kids say, I was unfamiliar with their game. So, all right. So moving on to the main event, Lilo and Stitch. So, like I said, big movie, broke all the Memorial Day records. It has made so far, I think, $500 million worldwide, which is crazy. It's only been out 2 weeks. So Disney definitely has another hit on their hands. But is it a good movie? Is it worth it? Do you need to go see it? So I took my 2-year-old to see it. We actually rented out a theater and went to see it, and it was cool. She had a good time. She wasn't really paying attention to the movie, but she was there with her friends. They were having a good time. It was awesome. So happy with that experience. And the movie itself, you know, it wasn't a bad movie. I don't think I can say I liked it, but I don't think it was a bad movie. I think it had its ups and it definitely had a lot of downs. When you try to look at it objectively, like instead of comparing it to the original, which is what most people are going to do, I do think it's cute, it's effective, it hits all the right emotional notes. So I think as a movie on its own, it's better than what it is than when you try to compare it to the original. But as a movie on its own, I think it does the job. It's like I said, it hits the emotional cues. It's fun. It's cute. I think it will keep kids engaged. I think they did a really good job with the visual effects, specifically on Stitch. Crazy good. I don't know how, like they clearly put a lot of attention and detail into Stitch because he's obviously the main focus of the movie. But it was just really well done in terms of the visual effects on Stitch himself. There were some changes. Now, looking at it as someone who really enjoys the original, there were some changes that they made that I wasn't really a fan of just because I felt like they were unnecessary. Like character motivations had changed that I didn't really think they needed to change. Like it was like, hey, we need to develop these characters more. We need to give them more of a presence. We need to give them more of a backstory. But it's like, man, their backstory in the original movie was enough. Yeah, we didn't like maybe we didn't need to change it. But they did change it. They changed a lot. I'm not too like worried about spoilers with this one, but there were some characters that were not in it that were like specifically one. Like I guess I'm just gonna say it. Like Gantu wasn't in this, so like I don't know. So that made them have to lean into Jamba as the villain. So you lose a lot of the growth that Jamba has as a character because he's just a straight up bad guy in this movie.
Weird.
Yeah, like I mean, Pleakley's still Pleakley. He still has some redemption. Not that he really needed redemption because he wasn't trying to harm anybody, but yeah. So they lean into Jamba as the bad guy. He takes on the Gantu role. It was a weird sort of with the switching into humans thing was kind of awkward because I don't know, Zach Galifianakis didn't really do anything for me in this role. He was just kind of bland. Yeah, I don't know. It just that piece of it didn't work for me. Cobra Bubbles isn't the social worker, which is strange.
Really?
They got some random like child protective CPS lady in there. He comes along later to be sort of like just a CIA agent. So his whole interaction, his whole relationship with the characters is sort of just shoehorned in there. It was a weird choice. I was like, why not have Cobra Bubbles be the if he's gonna be in the movie anyway, why not just have him be
It's almost like they question
the social worker.
It's almost like they questioned the initial, like, why is the social worker the secret CIA agent?
Yeah.
Like, and that's a valid question.
But yeah, but it's
still
like,
like eh,
I guess like, but it's a weird thing to change. Anyway, I didn't like I said, I didn't think it was a bad movie. I didn't particularly enjoy it personally, but I mean, I think it's something that kids will enjoy. if I had to rate it, which I did on my Letterboxd account, which you can check out also in the notes below, I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. So
Wow.
just right in the middle. I didn't think it was terrible. I didn't think it was great, but it was just it was okay.
What is your process on being able to separate the two? Because you even said it.
Yeah.
That a lot of people are going to compare it to the original.
Yeah.
I do. I haven't even seen this new one just yet because I know I love the first one so much.
Yeah.
How do you separate the two?
It's tough if you're just an adult going to watch the movie by yourself. I think it helps if you have kids or if you take a niece or nephew to see it because you can see how they react to it.
You don't want to upset them by saying that movie wasn't that good.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're gonna try harder to enjoy it for them, and you're gonna let yourself forget about the little details that are changed. So, I think that helps because this movie was made for kids. It's as
not
much
made
as
for us.
Yeah, exactly. As much as we might like to think that Disney execs have the millennials in mind when they're making these kids movies, they probably don't. We're definitely not at the top of their priority list. So you kind of have to keep that in mind. But yeah, like I said, objectively, I don't think there was anything wrong with the movie. It's just when you're thinking about it in terms of how it was adapted from the original is when all the problems start to come in my opinion.
Gotcha.
As a movie on its own, though, I thought it was fine. I thought there was nothing wrong with it, like in terms of a movie existing on its own. If this was their first experience or first exposure to Lilo and Stitch, I can't imagine how you would walk out thinking like, oh, that movie had a lot of problems.
No. I mean, and I haven't seen the original Lilo and Stitch in over 15 years, I think.
Yeah.
So
but it's iconic, right? So
it is iconic. I remember most things, but going into this, I definitely agree with your 2.5, maybe 2.7, but no, 2.5. Because it was okay, right? Thank you for inviting me. I got to see it there, and I was watching into it, and you have to like the characters, you have to know everything, but when you go straight from a cartoon movie to the live adaptation, the translation doesn't work. Direct translation, so you have to make these small changes, and I didn't mind the small changes. Those were the things that kind of okay, we're getting to know this character a little bit more, or you're focusing on their dynamic personalities, which Bleakley probably made the movie for me, to be honest with you. Those scenes, I was laughing, I was actually engaged with the movie. The rest of it is you're not spending enough time on the characters to draw in the rest of the audience. You're just wanting to put characters on screen for the kids, right?
Yeah.
But then you're losing the rest of us because it's all right, well, he's on screen, what does he do now? What do they do now? So I definitely was I could take a nap here. But the end of it, the way that it finished up, it was all right, I get that. It's heartwarming.
Yeah.
You got to cut to the chase. So it is what it is. I don't know if I'd rewatch it unless I had to take my niece to watch it again, or if they wanted to. But it's out there now. So
yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it unless you're gonna go see it with someone younger. I wouldn't recommend, Matt, you haven't seen it. You've seen a lot of stuff online about it, I'm sure. But I don't think it's something you need to take a trip to go see.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it for you.
Pro or no, live action remakes.
Yeah. Caveats.
I was gonna say I would have to have a caveat on this. I'm a pro on it just because I think if they're designed for kids, I don't see anything wrong with making new movies or new versions of old movies for kids. It happened with us.
It did.
So I don't know why we feel so high and mighty about it. Our versions being the final and last versions of things. Millennials specifically have this, we have this sense of ownership on these stories that have been retold a million times.
But I would want that to add to the millennial thing is we do want to picture ourselves into the characters that we fell in love with, right? So I wouldn't mind seeing someone that looked like me, live action, Aladdin, live action Treasure Planet, live action Atlantis. These were great movies that I fell in love with, right? You too.
Yeah.
So getting to see someone that looks like me or acts like me or has similar overlap, all right, let's engage with that. Lilo and Stitch, I'm sure there were people that connected with help me out with the sister's name.
Nani?
And
yeah.
And so like at that point I'm like, you know, Nani's a great character. Could she have been more involved or more highlighted? Probably. But
but the movie's called Lilo and Stitch, not Nani and Stitch. Or Nani and Lilo, you know.
Nani, Lilo, Stitch. NSL.
Yeah. No, I mean, and they do have to obviously try to cater to the audiences of today. So it's like they've got to change things. What worked for us as kids isn't those things aren't going to work for the new generation. So you got to make changes, people. Things change and grow and adapt. So that has to happen, especially in film. Yeah. Anyway.
I do have a fun conversation piece. And before we get into like the depths of it, I do want to have each one of us kind of rate what we think each other's levels at. So I want to talk about cursing.
Okay.
Curse words, all that fun stuff. But I also want to say, like, let's go ahead and rate ourselves and say who we think curses the most in their day-to-day life. And so like, let's rate each other. And there is a caveat, now that we've had some caveats before. We get to rate Adonis twice. We're going to say before being a dad and then after.
So instead of ranking each other, can we rate each other? So out of 10, like say how much we think the person like curses in their everyday life. Just because I feel like we know number one is going to be Matt. It's who curses the most.
We just know that.
I know we don't know that. That's why I want to rank them.
But
we
like
can rate it.
It's gonna be Matt at 1, Luis at 2, and me at 3.
No. Just wait. That's why I'm tossing in, pre-dad Adonis.
I mean, even pre-dad Adonis, I feel like I didn't curse as much as you guys.
I don't know. We'll see. So, okay. I'm gonna go to you first. You've had enough time to think about it. So, how would you rank? Rate. So rate yourself twice, pre-dad, post-dad, and then Matt and I.
So if I'm ranking, it's just what I said. Matt 1, you 2, me 3.
Okay.
Both ways.
If
I'm rating, I would say, I don't think every word out of Matt's mouth is a swear word, but I think I would probably say around like a 7, like 7 out of 10 as far as like how much you swear, especially since you play video games a lot. I'm sure there's a lot that goes down, that just gets shouted into the void. So I'll probably say 7. And I can only rate these based on the conversations that I have with you guys. I'm not there with you behind closed doors. Luis, you don't really swear that much
in public.
So I'll probably go around like a 4 for you. That again, my exposure to you. And then for myself, pre-daughter, I'd probably go around a 4 as well for myself. Now it's probably closer to like a 3, maybe a 2.
These are out of 10, right?
Yeah.
Out of 10. So, sir, are you comfortable dropping one accidentally around your daughter, or you do anything to avoid that?
Yeah, but it's just like I was never someone who swore that much to begin with, so it's like it's not as hard for me to filter myself as it is for someone like Matt.
Why am I catching strays? That's rude.
Because you have trouble filtering yourself. We were just talking about this off mic.
I know. I literally dropped the F-bomb right by Amara, and I was like, ah.
And you apologized for it, made a big deal out of it, and I'm like, let's just get past this.
I'll pull it back as much as I tried to.
A couple of weeks ago, he looked at her dead in her face and said, "See him over there? That's what we call a bitch." Pointing at Louise, dead in her face.
Did I do that?
Yes, you did.
I don't remember that.
This is about a month ago.
I don't remember that. I don't think I said bitch. I said this is what we
no,
call a
didn't
bitch.
You definitely said the full word.
Damn it.
I was trying to justify you too. I'm gonna go next because I can't rethink. So,
but anyway, yeah. So I don't think, yeah. So it's not hard for me to like edit myself. Like I don't, because it's like I don't. It's not a part of my everyday vocabulary. Like if I need to, if I'm gonna swear, it's probably when I'm talking to you guys or my other like guy friends. But yeah, I don't need to, like, it's not a part of my like everyday vocabulary.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. So, similar rankings. I would say cursing the most. I'm sorry, man. I'm looking back and I'm having to like, I'd probably say I would rank as an average you the least, then myself, and then Matt. But you and I are pretty close. However, like pre Dad Adonis, when we would hang out at least, and that was the other thing. Maybe I didn't see you in other social situations. So like, I felt like you cursed a little more than I did. I had to be very, very comfortable in order to be like dropping it. Yeah. So, but nowadays, yeah, I think that's right. Matt, I think you're like a solid 7.5, 8, bro. And I would put Adonis at like a pre-dad Adonis at like a 4, 5. Post dad Adonis at like a 2.
But see, that's weird though, because around you guys, I feel like I haven't really changed.
But you haven't cursed as much.
You think so? I'm not like when we're out and stuff.
Yeah, when Amara's not near,
yeah.
That's what I mean. So but for you
you've
guys.
dialed it back. I've noticed you've dialed it back, and
maybe.
I mean, Adonis and I text all the time, and in the text he cusses.
Yeah.
So,
and then I'm like, I like a solid 4, 5. I can read the situation, and I'll tell you this: like outside, I really have to be comfortable in a situation in order to curse, and I will tell you, I've maybe it's been work, maybe it's this or that, but once I'm out of like people's area, I go and I'm like, fuck, really? Like, cause like I get into the habit of like, really, you guys are acting like this, or you did this, or this person did that, and I'm like, come on. Common sense. And the less common sense people have, the more my cursing comes out. But Matt, go ahead and give us the ranking.
I cuss at work. I cuss during work. I cuss when I don't mean to, and I cuss when I do mean to. Yeah. It's
For
not
Matt,
a 10.
They're not curse words. They're sentence enhancers.
They are sentence enhancers. I do absolutely try to do my best around like the right situations. Like,
sure.
I definitely never mean to like cuss around Amara because I don't want to do that. I don't want her to look at you and be like, Dad, bitch. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, that's totally me. But it does. I don't know why it slips out. Maybe because I feel like as a kid, I just was always so like, you don't curse. And the second I hit 18, I was like, I'm gonna do it.
When you hit 18, really?
Yeah. I think my biggest curse word when I was a kid was damn it. I got smacked for saying God damn it. Mm-hmm. Not like smack, but like a decent like bah. Yeah, like, don't do that. Yeah. But yeah, when I hit 18, I think I just started cussing a lot more. So it's not a 10 because it's like I feel like a 10 is like every time I talk is like me saying something. Yeah. It's not that bad. Yeah. When I'm video gaming, yeah, it's high. So I'm gonna say like a 8.5. Okay. To Adonis cussing, pre and post, I think it's about a 5 because we text and we'll be talking about like newest castings for a TV show that's coming out, and we'll talk about the people that we want to be pissed about, and he'll say like, oh yeah, I want these efforts to be upset, like do these crazy castings, and I'm like, yeah, no, Adonis still cuss. He just, again, he's better.
I just know I don't cuss as much personally around my daughter, but when I'm around you guys,
you
I
cuss
feel
all
like
the time.
I haven't changed that much. But
yeah. Maybe when I become a dad, maybe it will, maybe it won't. Maybe my kid will go to school and say fuck her, and I'm like, oh damn it, and I'm just screwed. Who taught him that? Yeah. It was his mom, and it's not gonna be her. And then I think Luis, it's funny because I known you when we were in high school, and I feel like you were more of a choir boy, and you kind of still have that little innocent lad who really tries to not cuss as much. So I would actually say you're like, when you're drunk, it's a 7.
It's straight up, yeah.
It's a 7. But when you're not, when we're just hanging around, it's like a 5 or 6. But it jumps up to like a 7 or 8 when you're drunk.
Yeah, and that's and
when what was that movie? 21 came out.
Yeah.
He was fucker. He would do it all the time. We just be hanging out. He just do it. I'm like, why is he dropping the F-bomb right now?
But that's again,
as someone who drops the F-bomb a lot, I was like, weird point.
Yeah,
I felt comfortable, and that's the thing. It's
fair.
It was a comfortable situation. So you said you remember saying "damn it" or "god damn it" as your first curse word.
Yeah.
I
The first one that
definitely
got me papped was "God damn it."
okay. I definitely remember the first time I blurted it out. And then I remember I had a couple things because I still am conservative about it, about my like being cursing in Spanish around my family. Like I've gotten looks and I've gotten this and that. Like my grandmother on my dad's side is extremely religious, which bleeds into like my aunts and all that stuff. But I do remember a couple of times. Like the first time I blurted it out was I think I was in like second or third grade and we were playing kickball or dodgeball, something in the playing field, and someone kicked the ball or threw the ball, hit me straight in the face, and I got mad and I said, "Fucker."
In second grade, you
In
dropped
second
the
grade,
F-bomb?
and I had a bad influence because I had fourth graders that
He
were
looked
my
right
friends.
to me. I was like, we
Yeah.
didn't know each other then.
Yeah, no. I had my mom used to work at the school, so everyone knew her, and the influence was that like we would go to an acquaintance's house and be babysat. Like my little brother, myself, and I after school we'd get taken over for daycare, and there was a friend, and he's been a longtime friend now, and he was actually the one that would curse around me as a fourth grader to a second grader, and so I got that from him. I was like, I picked it up, but I also remember like the fact that like I said that, everything got quiet around me. They looked at me, saw the teacher's like detention, and I got talked to by the detention teacher saying, "What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. Your mom's gonna be pissed. Just sit for 5 minutes and then go see your mom. We won't ever talk about this again." And then the second time after I went to detention, like afterwards, then that was like a whole different situation. It's like, well, you're here and it is what it is now. But because your mom is going to find out about this from the teacher. The playground, not so much. But the second time I cursed and I did it around my family in Spanish, it was like we were at this concert hall, and there was so I was not a concert hall, sorry, an arena, and we all got different break rooms. But I remember seeing that this like group who was younger than us, smaller than us, they got this like sign on their like walk-in door, and it was a shared break room, but they decided to go ahead and put their sign on the door, magnetic, all that. And I remember just saying like it was my mom, my dad, my little brother, and I'm like, no chingues, like
No fucking way.
no fucking way, really. And I was like, cause like really, this group who's a bunch of kids and they have their mom as a manager has a door with their freaking name, and we're supposed to be the instructors and teachers, and we don't get that. And like my mom was like, "¿Qué dijiste?" And my dad just gave me the death stare, like the death stare. I was like, I was frozen, and so like I try not to curse around my parents. It was one of those things. Like if I hadn't been in public, I probably would have gotten beat as a 19, 20-year-old. So that's why I have that conservative side. But when I'm like comfortable, it's like, you know, there's intent behind cursing, right? So you know when to use it, what it's for. If it's really bad, if you're trying to hurt someone with the curse words, then yeah, that's bad. But if not, then like use them as sentence enhancers. So
What was your first curse word, Adonis?
So I
What
definitely
popped your cherry?
Yeah, I can't remember my first curse word. What my siblings and I used to do, because we were terrified of my mom, and it was like, yeah, you don't curse around your mom. So what we used to do, even when we were out, like not around our parents, we would say the curse word without like the last syllable or the last letter. So fuck would be fuh.
Oh,
Yeah, so like fuck you, and it was like we were like little kids, so that was like our cursing, even when we were around our other friends. Yeah, so
That's a good way. I like that.
Yeah, so we would never say the full curse word, but we were like using that sort of loophole. Yeah, like I've been swearing since I was like 8, but like it was just we just never said the full word. Even when I was a teenager, like I was like terrified, and also I like was also just not the type of person who wanted to cause any undue stress on my mom, who was a perpetually stressed out person. So like I was talk about like a good kid. Like I didn't do anything. Like I was like school, I did my homework on time, I was a good student, because I was a middle child, so I felt like my mom had enough going on with my older sister and my little brother who was the baby, and I was like, you know what, I had middle child syndrome, so I was like, I'm gonna just be the one you don't have to worry about. Like I'm gonna try to cause the least stress possible. So like I didn't do anything even when I wasn't around my mom that I knew my mom wouldn't like me to do. So like I didn't go to parties, I didn't sneak out, I didn't skip school. Like I was I read books. Like my friends and I would just say we would go to Barnes and Noble, hang out, reading book. That's what we did during the week. So yeah, like that was sort of, so when my mom passed away when I was 18, I was like, it was just sort of like a revelation that there was nobody that I had to worry about not disappointing anymore, you know? So it kind of like, yeah, it opened up the floodgates a little bit. I was very anti like alcohol really until I moved here. But I had like a beer or two when I lived back home, but moving here is when I really came out of my shell verbally, if you will. Like so it wasn't until I was like over 21 that curse words became a part of like my everyday vocabulary. So I don't remember exactly when, but it was not until very late in life.
So
I think I gotta say this fucking guy at least like 50 times a day.
Yeah. Now it's like I feel awkward if there is no swearing in adult conversation. Like I feel like you're trying too hard not to swear. Like if I'm around people like other adults, it's like, and there are no kids around, there's no reason why we shouldn't be swearing. It's like why am I gonna say freak instead of fuck when I'm talking to adults, you know? Like why am I gonna say that's bullcrap? No, it's bullshit. Like I mean these are adult words, okay? They're like non-adult words, and they're like substitutes, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're around adults and there's no reason for you not to use the quote unquote adult word, then you're just trying too hard not to swear.
So when does it stop being an adult? Or when does it stop being an adult word? Like you have to like censor yourself for kids. Like what age do you think? Now that we're getting to like social norms and tattooing,
that's a good question.
It like,
I don't know. I think as long as like if like I don't want my 11-year-old swearing just because you can get in trouble. Like, you know, as in grade school, you're not supposed to use curse words. But I think once you get into high school and you're not swearing at people, then I think I think it's okay.
Yeah,
like if I'm ever having a conversation and, you know, with my kid or whatever when they're 15, 16 and they want to talk about a test that they took and they're like, you know, but she said I got this wrong, but I thought it was bullshit. Like, I'm not going to be like, hey, you know, we don't use that word. It's like, no, as long as you're not calling me a fucker, then I don't really care if you use the word fuck. Yeah. You know, I think, I would say high school would be for me is where I would stop caring as long as you're not using it towards someone.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And this all came up because I was in a situation where like there was some kids that were left alone by the parent, right? They were like, here, we're going to drop you off here. And something came up and I thought I was away from public. I was handling the situation and trying to make sure. And it was just one of those things that was like, fuck, are you serious? Like, come on, fucking work. I need this shit to like, happen.
See, it feels like you're trying too hard when you say it.
And but I was like, no one's around. This is my own private space. And I found out that like the kids overheard at one point or other. I'm like, well, now you're trying to get me into like the 11-year-olds listening to this when, first of all, you left your kids alone. And second of all, like it wasn't towards them. Third of all, I didn't expect
if you're in
them to
public
like,
space, you cannot control what your kids do or do not hear.
Oh, dude.
So you can't justify like being mad at it, right? So it was one of those things that I'm like, at this point, like you know, it's a common thing. You know, it's gonna happen. Yeah. People are gonna curse at everything.
Yeah. MYOB. If you're out in public, mind your own damn business.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was like 13, me and my cousins went to go see a movie, and it was like after Kung Fu Panda had been released. And I remember we were all sitting there laughing, and I was like, what are you going to do? Sit on me? And this dad, who is no relation to me, don't know me, turns to me and says, watch your mouth. And I was like, who are you? He's like, you said shit. I was like, no, I didn't. And I was like, I actually said, sit on me, fucking asshole. I was really upset. And after that point, I was like, yeah, no, maybe that was my tipping point of like, hey, if someone's going to mishear me, I'm just going to say the curse words all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where it came from. But yeah, MYOB. Like, hey, just have that conversation with your kid. Hey, we don't really say that stuff. Or take them to the side.
Yeah. Take them out of the situation.
Don't parent a kid that's not yours, especially a 13-year-old.
Especially kids who, I mean, today is different because you have the internet. And on the internet, there will be swearing.
Yep.
Swearing is the least of your worries on the internet these
true.
days. So it's like you just have to instill in your kids, like, hey, you don't say this. You don't say this to adults. These are things that adults can say that you can't say. Just like everything, there are things that adults can do that you can't do. And this is just one of them. You can't use certain words until you're of a certain age. So,
or if you have a problem with it, then be more involved with your kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Just be there, like,
or
don't just drop them off.
Yeah.
Yeah, just listen. Again, I didn't say shit. I said sit on me.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, it is tough though, because as an adult now with a kid, it's like, yeah, if I'm out and about in the public restaurant, and there's some people, at a table near us, and they're being extremely derogatory, yeah, like I'm not gonna be like, hey, shut the fuck up, like, I've got a kid over here, like, let's tone it down. I'm gonna remove myself from the situation,
yeah,
or I'm gonna just ask politely, like, hey guys, like, I know you're just talking about your daily lives, but I got my daughter over here can hear every word you're saying.
Just
so let's
tell the person, like, hey, can you guys tell them to stop?
Yeah. So it's like, I think most people who aren't douchebags would see that. And most people who are talking like that around young kids don't know that they're around young kids.
100%.
So
I mean, it's happened to us.
I can't tell you how many times I've accidentally just been like going to a store with a friend,
and
then like I say something and I look over and I see kids. I'm like, I look to the parents. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, because I definitely don't mean to cuss near kids. It just happens.
Matt's like, we got to put a bell on this kid and a collar and a leash. And,
yeah, I'm just saying, if there was like a little bell, like ding-a-ling, all right, cool. There's a child near me. I now know to try to not cuss. I'll still cuss, but see what happens.
Well, right. Does that answer your question, Luis?
Yeah, man. I mean, and it's gonna be just mind your own business, like you said, and take yourself out of the situation if you're not cool with it. If you don't mind, then just understand that we're going to be more relaxed, and you're going to be hearing curse words on our show. So
yeah, I mean, clearly this episode is an example. We're definitely going to get the little E next to our
explicit
next to our title of this.
But
this week on Thursday, brand new game came out called Elden Ring Nightreign. This comes from Bandai Namco, from the creators from Soft, who make the really popular games Dark Souls, Demon Souls, and any of those like really like usually in gaming it's those get good games. Like, oh, this game is really difficult. Well, you're playing Dark Souls, so you should be getting either get good or don't play. Mm-hmm. I played about 2 hours of it. And I'm sad to say it is the first FromSoft game where I don't care how get good I have to get, I'm just not going to play it.
Ouch.
So I actually ended up refunding it. Had a whole moment with my friend because he and I were supposed to play it together, but I told him, hey, I'm really sorry, but this game is just not for me. What makes it different from the other ones is it's kind of Battle Royale-esque. Mm-hmm. Where you and your team are dropped onto a map that is ever closing. So like there's like a hazardous environment that's going to kill you if you stay in it for too long.
Okay.
So you have to run to every point immediately, which doesn't give you a lot of time to like look to actually enjoy and digest the game. Because like, okay, we landed. I need to get to these 5 buildings right away, fight these monsters, and get this stuff. And then I need to make it over here to the next area. And it's very, very go, go, go. Mm-hmm. It ended up not being very... Not that I'm a new gamer, but I'm not a speedrunner by any means. I like to enjoy my games.
Yeah.
And this game just really... I molded over after I played it for my 2 hours. I was like, you know what? This is just not it.
Dang.
So I was, I only burned $40. I got the $40 back, but it's definitely a game I think if you're a diehard fan of the FromSoft genre, and I mean, you got to be a diehard fan who loves speed running, it's for you. But if you're like a casual fan, it is definitely a skip, at least until they fix some stuff.
Are you in the minority when it comes to this, or have you? This is the sentiment that you've been seeing from other people.
It's kind of polarized right now, so it has mixed reviews on Steam. So it is there are the people, and you can see it in the comments. It's literally the people who are big speedrunner fans and FromSoft fans are loving it because you get 6 characters that you get to choose from. Those 6 characters all attack and do stuff differently, so it's very cool. And they enjoy that, but then you have your people who are like, well, yeah, but I don't know the map. There's no way that I can, like, there's nothing for me to be able to understand the map and chart a course. I have to land and run. And so it's very polarized right now.
God, what about in your gamer group?
In my gamer group, friend to the show and friend to us, Jason, absolutely loves it.
Okay.
Everybody else has not been playing it.
Gotcha.
Outside of the podcast, Troy, Jason, and I usually, if there's a game that comes out that's co-op for 3 players, we dive in and we all play it together. This game, Troy and I both were like, nah, we're good.
Oh wow.
So and Jason is the sole Nightfarer, is that's what you're called in Elden Ring. He's the only one rocking it, and I'm like, hey, good for you, man. I'm gonna watch a lot of videos.
I say, dang, poor guy. Now he doesn't have his buddies to game with on his.
He's got to play with randos, and it's just, it was bummy. It bummed me out because I really do love the From Software genre. I've played all of them, but that game was just, I was like, yeah, this is not it. I'm not about pulling up a map, but also having to make sure I'm running because the environment is closing in, and if I'm outside of the ring, I'm going to die. So I was just like, this is it. This is not it for me.
So this is like straight up like, what's the Call of Duty?
Fortnite and all that type of stuff.
All the Battle Royale. Like, did they say why they wanted to make such a pivotal change to that style of game for this?
They haven't released. So the biggest thing is, from what I'm seeing, is that they had the assets. They're moving on to new projects, and they're trying to expand what they currently have, and they wanted to test it out. That's why this game is not a $60, $70 game as they normally are.
Gotcha.
It's like, hey, we want to see how well this does, and it has sold over 2.2 million copies.
Yeah.
So people love it, but then I think once they get there, they're like, I don't know how many people have returned it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they just were like, hey, this is the algorithm that we've done forever. Let's see how people like this stuff. And to me personally, it feels like a fire sale. They're like, hey, we're probably not going to be coming back to this world for a while. So let's use these assets that we have. Let's smack this game together and let's see what happens.
Gotcha. That's interesting because I heard that the new game that's coming out for the Switch 2, the Duskbloods, is similar.
Yes.
Will be similar to this.
Which is super disheartening.
Yeah.
So it sucks because I'm getting a Switch 2, but I don't think I'm getting Dustblood because the Dustblood, they're going to require that you have to play. It's an online. So you're also, I think, while you're playing, there's also going to be other PCs who could attempt to stop you and kill you.
Okay.
Which they've always had an invader system in the Dark Souls series.
Yeah.
Like if you were going through and I was if I was like a part of the bad covenant, I could make it to where when you get to certain areas, I could jump you.
Oh, okay.
And that's always been there. But this is like dedicated. Like, no, when you load in, you're loading in with somebody else who is attempting to stop you.
Gotcha.
So I'm not going to say that I hate the innovation. You got to spruce it up.
Yeah, and I mean, as long as it's not, this isn't, like you said, replacing their other titles or other types. It's just an addition, so maybe it's like, people who like it, they'll like it, and it just won't be like their flagship stuff,
Yeah.
It'll be like,
And it's funny, too, because it's like, I feel like where you guys can kind of come into this, because you guys aren't I know Luis is kind of a gamer, but you're not a gamer.
No.
With you, when it's like book adaptations, or even not really adaptations, but it's like, hey, this is a continuation of the series of a book. Do you expect them to still hit like, okay, well, in the first series, like the Percy Jackson books, right?
Sure, yeah.
It follows Percy and it follows this line, and then eventually at some point it cuts to Jason. do you still expect them like, okay, I need Jason to make sure that he's hitting these certain points that Percy hit or this previous character was hitting, or do you want it to be a fresh slate for you?
I mean, for media like books and movies and TV shows, I think it's a detriment if you try to have the characters all hit the same points. I think that's one of the biggest differences between video games and other types of media is that where you're looking for those same mechanics to be like through points throughout, all the games you play.
Yeah.
You're definitely not looking like with other types of media like movies and TV shows and books. What I want is originality. Yeah, are some of the character archetypes going to be the same? Sure, but like I don't. If every character is just a photocopy of another character or inspired by another character, then I'm not really interested in that. Like it's always
boring.
want new. Yeah, you always want new, fresh ideas and characters and motivations with things outside of video games. But I know with video games, like that's part of the thing. Like you want your stalwarts to be your stalwarts. Like Link should always be Link.
Yeah.
Like we don't want Link to suddenly have a change of heart where he's like, you know what? Fuck Zelda. I'm gonna go do my own thing.
You know what? I actually don't want to be the hero of time. I'm gonna go fish and ride my horse everywhere.
Yeah, so that's one of I do think that's one of the main differences is like I think it's more clear cut good guy bad guy in video games because you're playing as the character.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some great like Last of Us, right? There's gonna be moments where because Joel does what he does in the movie, in the TV show and in the video game, so he's clearly a gray area type character.
Very polarizing.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like because it's like the people who hate the game or are upset are really loud in that regard of like, this is dumb. They should have never have done this. It should have stayed this way.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, it's like, hey, I might not like the game, but I appreciate that they're trying to do something. And it is cool. It's just not for me.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
And I think that's kind of always like been a hard part, like of being a gamer is like, to some, not all, but a good majority of them are like, no, if it wasn't exactly how this was, I don't want the game. Yeah. And it's like, brother, you don't have to click buy.
Yeah, exactly.
You could have not clicked buy, or you can click request a refund.
Yeah. Not everything is for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like, and again, that kind of goes right back to like the stuff with Lilo and Stitch. Is like sometimes they're making this thing, and it's like, hey, again, this was not made for person A.
Yeah.
Person B, who's like, dude, wait, it's a speedrunner boss rush. Yeah. Oh, yo, count me in. That's my stuff.
Yeah.
Not for me, but I'm happy that there is someone out there who likes it.
Exactly.
But it's like now you got the new Pokemon game coming out, right? And now your Pokemons can move.
Yeah.
And it's not the same thing. Does that stuff does that excite you to see that like now it's like, hey, maybe my Pokemon can run out of the way of the water gun.
Right. And then that might be like something like you said, it's you have those fans that are going to be, or you think about it in the way of like, well, we've had this formula, we've done this game this exact same way, and we're going to play through the age groups. So the age groups are going to age out of it, but we have the next generation and the next generation.
Yeah. True too.
Versus we have this age group that's been here with us since day one, and they want something else. And so like I see the new Pokemon game ZA as like something else. Like my favorite, and I know Adonis has said this too, is like Pokemon Legends Arceus was so much fun.
Was a big departure.
But people hated it. Like the Pokemon purists were like, what is this? I don't like this. I don't like these changes.
But I'm like, I know how the original games play and the formula plays. And you're bringing in new games, which I get. You're instructing these like kids that are falling in love with this new game, but I'm sitting here and the tutorial's like, oh, do this, or now you're guided to this next step. I already know this. I know this formula. I want something else, and that's what it was with that. So maybe that's the thing is like, hey, we have this. Maybe we need a little bit of a challenge, and that's what they're doing is like they're setting up a challenge for now. Yeah. If it works, you're gonna have those people that are gonna be like, yes. If not, then you go back to your main formula. And maybe divert every once in a while.
Yeah, that's another thing, too, that people need to realize as, older people who are seeing changes to things that they don't particularly care for because they're different than what the original was or how things have always been, is that as you get older, especially with video games, right? Like if you had a graph of older gamers, right? at some point that line is going to start to dip, right? It's going to start to go down because the number of older gamers is going to be diminished by people having to do more stuff at work, starting families. You know, they're not going to have as much time to game anymore. But you know what's always going to be steady? Kids playing video games, because that line is always going to be horizontal, because kids are kids and there are always going to be new kids. As adults get older, they start to taper off and do other things. But for every kid that ages out of video games is another kid that ages right into video games. So
that's true.
It's like you got to cater to the new audiences, and that's just life. That's with everything, though. Like you can't expect people to just stay the course, status quo, because that's how things have always been done.
And I feel like when you stifle, when you suppress that type of innovation, if you will,
stifle.
Yes, thank you, stifle. Eventually, what happens is you get people who release lackluster games. So like, it's the same thing I've been working on for the last 30 years. Why do I care?
Yeah.
Because I know Johnny Joblo's going to buy it once, and then boom, hopefully we make our numbers, and then a company goes under. So
that's what happened with a lot of like the EA games.
Yeah, the FIFA.
Like,
I mean, FIFA's still around.
No, but NBA 2K, and then also like some of the Call of Duties. Like if you have this thing, it's not like, well, we want to try something else. We want to try something. No, we're sticking to this. Then you have those developers that opt out or switch. So
oversaturate the market as well.
Yeah.
So and I guess the other thing too for me is like, hey, you know what? You can also just go back to that other game. It didn't go away, and you can play that
That's
one.
That's exactly what I said to people complaining about Lilo and Stitch. It didn't ruin the original, because you know what? The original is still there.
Yep.
If you want to go watch it, you can still go watch it. No one's taking it away.
Yeah.
Like it's
not like this
around.
came out and Disney said,
and
okay,
replaced
rip
it.
the animation.
It's not on Disney Plus, though.
Is it?
It's not.
The original?
Yeah.
I just watched it like a week ago. Did they take it off in the last week?
I think they took it down until this movie, and then they'll probably add it back on. But it's one of those things. Like I saw a debate online that like, hey, I can't get the original Disney Plus one.
Pretty sure it's still on Disney Plus. I don't know. People like to just make stuff up sometimes.
Maybe, but I mean, I get the logic. I get the logic behind that of not making it accessible for like 2 weeks so that you go watch the new one.
Maybe
they have to make their money.
That'd be weird though. But I think for me, like, to anybody who out there who is like, hey, was I considering Elden Ring Nightreign? Just again, be really ready. It is not what you've played before with the other Dark Souls games or Souls like. It is a rushing game. So like you land, you look at the map, you start going, and then you try to survive. If that's for you, I'm happy for you. It was not for me. So that was my talk for gaming.
Yeah, before we get out of gaming though, we'll just touch on this really quick. Next episode, you'll have been the owner of a Switch 2 for about a week, a little over a week.
Oh man, will I have?
Yeah, because it comes out on the 5th, and we won't record again until, I don't know, about a week and a half after that.
Yes.
So before, this will be your first time talking to the people, or last time talking to the people before you played the Switch 2. Anything that you're sort of expecting, anything that you are
on the fence about,
worried about, what, like anything before you as the last time, to talk about it before you actually play it.
Well, I mean, the $80 price tags are not enjoyable.
Not on every game, right? Again,
I mean, it should just be Mario Kart and then any like other main title.
Did you get the Mario Kart bundle?
I did.
Okay, so you only paid $50 for it.
I only paid $50. Yeah. Is there anything I'm expecting? I'm expecting I get my money's worth. So with me spending the $500 to get the Switch 2 and Mario Kart, I'm hoping that the games are going to play really well. Like, I get really pissed off when I think about the previous Pokemon, Scarlet, and where the Pokemon would fall out of the map.
Yeah.
Or you watch a Pokemon walk into the map and then just be in the middle of your fight. And you're just like, why are you here? Leave. You're not even the one I'm fighting right now. So I'm hoping for like, hey, if you're making these bold statements, we're charging this amount of money because of the quality of game, I better get the quality of game.
Okay.
So if I start playing games and there's weird shit that's happening in them or glitches, again, it does happen, but I don't like when people talk big and they can't cash in on that.
I got you. Okay.
Do you think we've gotten away from like the blue screen or the like freezing?
I hope so.
Okay.
I would hope so. And I was gonna say I forgot to rate Elden Ring.
Oh yeah.
2.5.
Out
No, 3. 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. Okay.
3 out of 5.
Okay.
It is still. It looks beautiful. You just don't get to enjoy it, and the characters really cool.
Just don't get to enjoy.
You don't, man. It is like
Yeah.
the only time you can enjoy it is in the in between world where like you're like, okay, do I do a mission? Do I go talk to people? In the rest area?
Yeah.
That's it. So it's like, okay, now I can look at my character. Now I can see how he attacks. Oh, that's cool. But when you're out and about, you're like, kill, run. So I gotta say, solid 3 out of 5.
Okay.
I like it. I don't love it. Again, it wasn't for me.
Cool. All right, we'll get a review of the Switch 2.
I'll bring it in and play for you guys.
Yeah, I wonder. I'm interested to see because you're a PlayStation guy, right? Most of the time you play on PlayStation.
Bigger PC now.
Oh, bigger PC now. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see. Try to keep track of the hours
Ooh.
that you play your Switch 2. Like if it's in that first week, does it get your top priority? Is it going to get all your attention, or are you going to play it for a couple hours, put it down, and then jump right back on your PC? So
I think it depends on the games that come out. Like it's just Mario Party first, right? And so it's like, I mean, well, Mario Kart, not
Mario
Party.
but it's open world Mario Kart.
It
so
is.
You can,
I can't wait for the game. I love that they were like open voice chat. If you don't think that I'm gonna yell at some kid from 20 miles away, you little shit. Yeah. Like you're absolutely wrong, Nintendo. You're about to go into a whole new world of people like, wow, there's a lot of cussers. America's terrible.
Hey guys,
that'll be a good experience. So try to keep track.
I will.
Try to keep track.
We'll see what happens. Guys, I got 3 hours. It's been 2 weeks. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was like 30 minutes in and they locked my system.
I got reported twice. I can't play my Switch anymore.
So we didn't have much music dropping on the 30th this week, actually, but there was a big one, and I saw the title. I'm like, very popular, and I was actually impressed. Miley Cyrus dropped Something Beautiful, and
That's the name of the album. Not.
I was gonna say, like, dang, you really loved it.
My own personal thoughts aside. Yeah, the album's name is Something Beautiful. It's about 52 minutes long. I learned something this week too about LPs, EPs, and albums, mixtapes. They're all different things. I didn't know that. I was like, oh, an album's an album, guys. Like,
That's
no.
interesting that you didn't know that.
I didn't.
As a musician.
As a
yourself,
musician,
yeah.
I'm like, you put out music, I'm gonna listen to music. That's how it works.
You're not worried about the little acronym afterward.
Right.
Yeah, fair
It's
enough.
all music.
Fair
So
enough.
no. But so an EP is an extended play, right? And so those are typically a couple songs on an album. A long LP is a long play, which is the albums that I'm used to back in the day with the physical copies when I used to buy the CDs and everything. And so like she dropped a full album, long play, and I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it. I know Miley Cyrus isn't a typical listen to. I know we had a couple of songs like back in the day that were huge and fun. And then she had her whole like Disney Hannah Montana stuff that was fun too, but it's not what we're used to listening to. But I wanted
you teased us a little bit with your thoughts, so why not go ahead and just let us have it? What did you think of the album?
So last week we did the Weeknd's album, and honestly, like Miley Cyrus's album is what I expected of the Weeknd's album. Like
Really?
It felt more complete. It felt more elevated, introspective. The musicality of it and the way she like makes levels and just the style, it was really good. It flowed well together, and there were some good songs that they popped out. As far as Miley Cyrus, she is very, very talented, but her voice style for me has never done it. So it's not one of those things that I'm going to go back to. I'm like, I got to listen to over and over again, but I can respect her for what she's done. I know as a vocalist, her style of music, like to me just hurts because it feels like she's straining her voice the entire time.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, but I liked it. I mean, give it a listen through, and I mean, she's definitely changed from her previous stuff, and I like the growth.
Yeah, no, she's definitely gone. This is her 9th studio album. She's gone through several different rebirths, if you will. Like she's had total identity changes. You know, like you mentioned, she started out as being Disney Channel, Hannah Montana, very cutesy, very, you know, very poppy, very, you know, teenage preteen girls are going to listen to this. Which is that makes sense. She started when she was very young. She wasn't going to be making deep, powerful music when she was, you know, 14. But anyway, so she started out with that, and then she had her rebellious phase, you know, where she wanted to shed that cutesy good girl image, and she went other side of the spectrum completely and just, you know, was naked everywhere. There was a time in Miley Cyrus's career where you could not find a picture of her with clothes on. And I literally think that was just because she was trying to be like, yo, listen, I am not Hannah Montana. All right. I am my own person. And she got into a little bit of like I don't even want to call it like a real, like true hip hop pop phase, but she got into like a quasi hip hop phase where it was like more, like pop music that was about more of the stuff you hear about with rap, I guess. Like she had an album called Bangers, which was more of the, you know, I'm rich, you know, these are all the things that I have. I party a lot, you know. So she had that phase. Then she went to, and this is like, I don't even know exactly when she was country, but she was country at one point.
Before and after, yeah.
And now she's in this like artsy, like you mentioned, like elevated sort of music, like really trying to be an artist, really in her artist bag, you know. So this is definitely the best Miley I think we've ever gotten in terms of like where she's been, in terms of like her genre or what she's trying to do. I really like the album too, surprisingly. I don't think I've ever listened to a Miley Cyrus album before. Like I've listened to songs, and I really thought Flowers was a great single that came out a few years ago. But this album I thought was really good. I don't listen to a lot of pop personally, so I don't really have a lot to compare it to. One of our mutual friends, Bryce, shout out Bryce, was saying that he listened to the album and he thought it was bland, but he also listens to a lot of pop. So he says like this is something where if you don't listen to a lot of pop, this might sound like
awesome to you.
Yeah, experimental and interesting. But he was saying that as someone who listens to a lot of pop, it sounds like someone trying to be different.
I wouldn't categorize it as pop though. Like it's not popular music. It's not meant to like pop out at you, right? Because
I mean, pop is popular music. That's literally what pop means.
And I don't think she wanted to be popular with this album.
What would you label this thing?
Experimental.
No,
that's not a genre.
That's not. Yeah, experimental. What?
Alternative.
Rock?
No, it's not rock.
It's pop. So you could call it experimental pop, right?
Yeah, experimental pop, but it's not still pop. Like pop, when I think of pop, like the biggest thing going on right now is like K-pop, and it's meant to pick you up.
No,
dance,
but like
popular.
Olivia Rodrigo is pop. Sabrina Carpenter's pop. These are all pop artists.
Yeah, and they're bright and loud.
This wasn't bright and loud to you?
No, this was more mellow. Like
mellow?
Yeah. There
were a couple like softer songs on this, but I feel like this was a bouncy, dancey album. Like it had, like especially if you're looking lyrically, man, this was like your prototypical good, pop like album. I don't know. Maybe I guess agree to disagree. I felt this was very pop. Like I don't know what other genre I would put it in. Like it wasn't like she wasn't doing anything crazy experimental.
No, exactly.
In this, so
I don't think she wanted to.
Okay, she wasn't trying to be experimental. She wasn't trying to be pop.
She wasn't trying to be popular. She wasn't trying to like make the next song that was gonna pop. Like,
it is. It's considered pop, progressive pop.
Progressive pop.
Yeah, but it's still pop.
Yeah, it's still pop.
Yeah.
The progressive pop is what's weird to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, not to get too hung up on that, but I did but again, I don't listen to a lot of pop, so I don't have a lot to compare this to. I thought sonically it sounded really good. I found myself like even the moments of the album, which were the songs in the middle of the album, really didn't do a lot for me, but even those songs I found myself like, you know, bobbing my head and tapping my foot along to. So it still had my attention during that lull in the album. But no, there was some really good songs on here. Again, I'm not talking lyrically. You know, lyrically it is what it is. It's a you know, love songs and talking about heartbreak and, you know, that type of stuff. There's nothing on here lyrically that's going to blow your mind or make you think Sorry, Miley. But yeah, just sonically, I thought it was really good. I'm trying to pull up the songs that I liked in here so I can tell you specifically. But I know, yeah, the beginning of the album I really enjoyed, and the very end of the album I really enjoyed. So let's see, I added, yeah, so Something Beautiful, the title song, I thought was really good. End of the World, I thought was really good.
Yep.
I really liked More to Lose. And then, yeah, like I said, in the middle, we get a little bit of a dip. I didn't really like much of the middle of the album, but then the last two songs, Reborn and Give Me Love, I thought were really strong closers. Yeah, it was. I was surprised. I was surprised to say the least. I thought it was. Really a really strong project for sure. Is it something I'm going to go back to? Probably not. I mean, it's just not my bag personally, but trying to listen to these albums objectively and just judge them based off what I hear, less off of what I know about the artist or the person or the genre. I can't say that I thought it was a strong project for sure.
Yeah, I think it's funny because I wish I had like the information to be able to say this thoroughly.
Yeah.
But in the sense of like, if the album has a song that's the same name, I always feel like that's the song you do the best at. And that was Something Beautiful is the really, I was like, yeah, no, you did a good job.
It's the pop.
It wasn't like, it's definitely not my cup of tea. Like, I don't hate pop. I don't seek pop. Like, I mean, I guess that's unfair to say. Maybe it might just be like, Miley did good in this album for herself.
Yeah.
I like that she's trying. She is trying to again reinvent herself.
Sure.
And that's life, man.
Yeah.
You know, do what you can.
She's got layers now.
You got the money to do it.
Yeah.
You know. But Something Beautiful was my one standout.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that song. The rest of the songs, I was like, okay, it's good. It's okay.
Yeah. It's not bad. I think that's a compliment in of itself. Like, it's not bad.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's like a 7 out of 10, or
Yeah. Am I adding it to my rotation? No, I don't think I would. Maybe Something Beautiful I would add to, like, if it randomly pops back up. I wouldn't mind that.
I mean, and in the grand scheme of things, I think that's great that you're adding one song from an album.
Fair.
Like,
Yeah, and I think and maybe that's just the testament to it. And again, I'm not the demographic for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just like, yeah, like, I would like to hear this song again, not immediately, but if it comes back up, I'm not skipping.
Yeah.
So, I liked Something Beautiful. It was very different. It's weird to, like, I can see where saying that it's pop and then seeing that it's progressive pop. I feel that, but it's like, yeah, maybe go back to country because I love her song Jaded. But I say that, don't listen to me. I'm not gonna. That sounds
on the opposite of that. I don't listen to country clearly, but I think her best has been when she's flirted with this artsy pop. No,
okay.
there's like pop where it's like it's definitely pop, but it's like not every song's gonna end up on the radio.
Yeah,
and it's like clear that she's trying to be more artful about. She was really involved. I was reading up on this a little bit too. She was really involved in the production of this album too, which is really cool because most pop stars are not involved in the production. They just get the beat and they they sing on it, or they have someone they work with and they just get. Sometimes they even just get the song and then just do their version of it.
Yeah,
that's the extent of it. So to hear that she was involved with the production of this is really cool. I know she is. She's an artist. Like, people, you can laugh at her, you can make fun of her for, like, again, all the different reinventions that she's had across the years, but she is someone who I think respects music, and she is trying to be a real artist, and I think she knows a lot, and I think that she is a true artist. So I want to give her flowers, so I was surprised by this album, but I'm pleasantly surprised by it. So I thought she did a really good job. So I'm gonna let's give this a rating. But Luis, I actually let you go first since this is your bag. So.
I said 7, but I'd probably go 8. Like you said, I wouldn't necessarily like go adding this to my playlist anytime, but the songs were good and they got my attention. They kept my attention. Even the songs that I was like, oh, I'm not expecting this to like be good, they popped out. So an 8 out of 10 would be my rating. And like I said, she's a tremendous artist and she knows her stuff. So way to go.
Yeah, I would go. I would probably go with the high 7, mid 7, but I don't know if I could get to an 8. just because again I don't see myself going back to it. I feel like if I give something an 8, that means I need to go back and listen to it more. But
That's added to the rotation for sure. If it's
and
an 8.
there are a couple of songs on here, like I think specifically like Reborn, and then the other one,
Give Me Love,
More to Lose, were two that I think will get more play. And those are the I don't want to say softer, but they're more the ballad type songs. Whenever I'm listening to pop music, I tend to lean toward the more ballad type stuff. Like the last few Beyonce albums, the songs that have stuck with me have been the more ballad type songs. So, and I love Beyonce. So, yeah, I would probably go 7. Probably solid. I'll say a solid, strong 7 if I'm gonna rate this. Yeah, a 7.
Okay. Yeah, I think for me, I gotta say 7.5. Again, Something Beautiful I did add to my rotation. I feel like for me, 8 is like I probably added 2 or 3 songs to it. I do hear what you're saying though. I like Miley does sound like she really like uses her voice strong. But she's a really good vocalist. I do enjoy listening to the songs.
Oh yeah, she has complete control of her voice.
Oh yeah.
Like
but yeah, no, it was a really good album. And so I enjoyed my time. 7.5.
Yep.
Nice. Cool. All right, folks, that is going to do it for our episode this week. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate you guys as always. If you're not already, make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast. You can do that if you're listening on YouTube, on Spotify, on iHeart, on Amazon Music, wherever you're listening. Make sure you subscribe, follow us, rate us, do all that fun stuff. If you happen to just be listening off of YouTube and you want a streaming service, you can find links to all of those in our YouTube bio. So make sure you're, listen to us. You get alerts when the episode drops. So yeah, just make sure you're finding out as soon as possible. If you want a quicker way to do it, you can just search for Drink Easy, Speak Easy on any major streaming platform, and you should be able to find us. Where can they find us on the social medias, Luis?
Find us on the same handle, Drink Easy.
Drink Easy, Speak
Easy. Yes, thank you. That drink is a lot.
It's hitting.
But you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, TikTok, and not on X.
Not on X.
I like saying that.
Yes. X is like an X. Leave it alone. All right. Before we close out, as we always do, we're going to end with a toast. So,
may misfortune follow you for the rest of your life, but never catch up.
Cheers.
Cheers.